Welcome to the Artist Academy podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Earhart, and I am so excited that you're here to catch the weekly replay of my laid-back yet very inspiring conversations with other full-time professional artists. The purpose of this series is to show aspiring artists that it is completely possible to have a great career in the arts. And if you ever want to tune in and have your questions answered in real time by myself or featured guests, then just check out the schedule over at facebook.com/groups/Artist Academy every Tuesday to catch us on live. I'll see you there. This episode is sponsored by the Artist Academy Advanced Membership, a program for artists who want to up-level their art game by taking it from a hobby or a side hustle to a full-time six-figure art business. With weekly trainings that include step-by-step proven art business techniques, plus painting tutorials from yours truly and other guest artists who are masters in their field, you will be well equipped to learn and grow into the highly skilled and highly profitable artist you know you're meant to be. I've figured out what it takes to build my own six-figure art business, and now my heart is set on teaching aspiring artists like you to do the same. It's not hard, but it does require your time and dedication. So, if you're up for the challenge, go to advancedmember.com. That's advancedmember.com to learn more. This week's episode features Belgium-based speed painter Montana Engels. This is actually a re-record because the first time I interviewed Montana live on Instagram about 6 months ago, the system decided to completely shut off mid-conversation. We lost everything, and that moment, that right there, that is when I started to screen record every single one of the episodes from then on out to make sure we recorded the audio off of that platform just in case something like that ever happened again. Anyway, this time Montana agreed to do a sort of re-recorded interview, but we're switching it up a little bit. And we just picked up right where we left off. Only this time I knew so much more about her and could dive into the specifics of her art business. Some of those specifics include live painting at events. Montana is a speed painter with a really cool technique where she paints with a clear medium and then throws glitter all over the canvas as a sort of surprise reveal to the audience. So cool. We talk about how to get these jobs, where it all started for her, how she prepares for the crowd, and everything else that goes into it. So let me know what you think about this week's episode with Montana Engels. Can you start by just kind of reintroducing yourself yet again to anybody who might not know who you are, anybody who missed our last conversation, and just give a little background about where you're at, how you got into the arts?
So yeah, my name is Montana Engels. I live in Belgium, and I got into art basically because my family was in art, my grandfather was in art, my dad's in art. All as a hobby. So me too, I'm doing it as a hobby, but a hobby that earns pretty good. So I'm happy for that. So basically what I'm doing is, art on commission. I'm especially in portraits. Yeah, then also you wanted to talk mostly about my speed painting. So I do speed paintings live on events. So where I basically make a portrait or any painting or drawing on a really short time. So that goes from, 2 minutes to 20 minutes, but always super short, so that it's really like a performance basically. So yeah, and I was on Belgium's Got Talent. That's the Got Talent version from Belgium. And there I painted a huge portrait of Michael Jackson. And I got overwhelmed by all the views afterwards and all the people that were super excited to see what I did. And then there were a bunch of people that wanted to be my manager, and basically the ball got rolling. I performed for some really big names, and then now I'm doing it very often. Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, I remember last time I didn't even really know that about you, and I was just blown away. I was like, "What? Like, explain this." So, then I think it's so cool. So, can you talk about whenever you're speed painting? Can you tell people just so they can get an idea of exactly what it is, like how long you spend on it and what you do at the end whenever you do the thing?
Yeah. So basically what I'm mostly known for is painting with glitter. So actually I'm painting with see-through glue, so you don't see anything of what you're doing. Well, the people in the audience don't. I do a little bit, and I also have the picture memoried by heart. So that's the most important thing, that you really study the picture. And then I go on. I perform my speed painting all with glue. And then after a few minutes, I take all of my glitter cups. I got so many by now. I take my glitters and I throw it onto the painting so that the glue catches the glitter, and then the painting is revealed. And most of the time, that's really a wow moment for the people in the audience. So for me, I'm up close, well, too close basically, so I can't really see if it's how it worked out. But then if I go a bit behind, you see the whole finished work. So yeah, it's a totally different concept of painting, but it's really fun, and also it makes it very accessible for everyone. So even people who don't really are very into art, they also can enjoy art, since it's basically a performance.
So cool, so entertaining. I wish that I could see one live. That would be so cool.
Yeah. A bunch of my friends already said, like, "Oh, I really want to see you live." But
does anybody? Yeah. So I know that anytime I break out glitter around my house or anywhere, people are like, "What are you doing with that? That's going to take forever to get out." Like, do you get any slack for that, or are people just like, "It's too cool. We don't even care what you do"?
Yeah, actually, in the beginning, I was all worried, and I told all the venues where I came, I told them, like, beware, because you need to protect the underground. I mean, I already have a protection for the underground, but it's going to be everywhere. So, and by the end of the night, everyone was like, "No, we love it. It's like part of the whole atmosphere of tonight." So people actually don't really mind all the glitter. So yeah, with me, it's different. I have it in my hair. I have it in all kinds of places where I undress, and I still see glitter falling out everywhere. But yeah, that's part of the act.
Awesome. I love it. I love every bit about this. So let's see. Let's start by talking about maybe like how you prepare for something like this. Let's go all the way back to, I guess, how you get the client. And then we'll talk about like how you mentally prepare, how you physically prepare, and then we'll talk about like actually painting it a little bit more. So how do you get these clients? How are they finding you?
Basically, a lot of my clients come through Instagram. So yeah, by all the things that I'm sharing, also the previous speed paintings that I share. People, yeah, they're amazed. They don't know how or what, or so they invite me to an event, and basically, but also because I share so much and of what I do, I also am incorporated in a lot of event agencies. So event planners, event agencies, and they all heard of my act and what I do. So and then they basically call for me, and or even sometimes the owners of the venue or the event, they ask for me specifically. And then they book me, and I come there with all my stuff. I take everything, and I do the painting, a couple of minutes, and then I leave.
Awesome. So cool. And that makes so much sense too. Just going through like event agencies or event coordinators, like go to the person who is putting this on. Because likely, I mean, you could probably reach a couple customers too, but just reaching someone who does events, that's key. That's such a good way to go about it. Okay.
Yeah, because a customer, you only, you perform it once and they've seen it, but with an event planner, they can offer it to so many of their clients. So that's actually a mass, production, or how do you say that?
Yeah, exactly. So do you get people asking for the same thing every time, or do they like to switch it up?
It's always something else. So I don't think I ever did two of the same things. So they come to me. Let's say, for example, yeah, I did a lot of weddings. So that then I paint a couple in a couple of minutes. And then I also did huge corporate events and everything. So I already did like a product launch. I did for the Antwerp diamond industry. I made, because of the diamond dust that I use, I made a huge diamond related theme speed painting. I also painted, some celebrities in Belgium. I don't know if you're gonna know them, but they're famous football players or they're famous actors, actresses, stuff like that. So yeah. And then the Prince of Belgium also, I painted him live.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then often when, for example, for the Prince of Belgium, when it's too much, they don't want the glitter, maybe it would be too much for them. I paint them, just with paint. So it would be white on black canvas or black on white canvas. And then for the Prince of Belgium, I wanted to switch it up. So I painted it upside down. And then in like 5 to 8 minutes, something like that, I turned it around and everyone could see it was the Prince of Belgium that was present at the venue.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's funny. They didn't want the glitter, so you did the normal paint.
Yeah,
like,
sometimes.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but I totally understand. I mean, because he's gonna hang it at his place. So if you want to hang it and you have I don't know, a bachelor pad or something like that, then you maybe don't want all the glitter. So I also do that. So with paint and glitter.
I feel like only dudes will only want no glitter. all the women are like, yeah, okay, look, pink glitter, please.
Yeah, but I was surprised as well because there's a lot of people that also ask for the glitter, or I mean couples for weddings, they want the glitter, and because it's also, it adds a little extra surprise element of the performance. So yeah.
So awesome. So I know that we talked about this before in our previous interview, but how many times or how many hours do you think you spend preparing for this?
I always try to paint it at least once, the painting beforehand, and then I do it just in with paint on usually paper or something, just so I have it in my wrists and it comes out smoothly. Then for example, I had this one time where the photographer took a picture of the newlyweds, and it was a picture of the exact moment, and he sent it to me, and a few hours later I was there painting it. So that also happened. So basically for me it's studying the pictures. I have to know their features by heart, and then I arrive at the party and I immediately recognize them because I studied them so well. So I immediately am like, okay, I know exactly that you guys are the ones getting married, and I'm painting you.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I imagine that just for being prepared and feeling confident with it, it just helps a ton to be able to paint in front of a lot of people. Can you talk about that? Because I mean, for me, getting up and speaking in front of people is still a thing. I'm like, oh, I don't like it. But, I mean, I can do it, but I don't like it. What is your mental state?
Understand.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally understand. In the beginning for Belgium's Got Talent, where there was so many elements that could go wrong. So it was also one of my first time speed painting, and it was just, I had 2 minutes, so literally like this it goes by. So I was quite nervous, but when the spots are on you, you don't really see the audience, so that was like a good thing as well, because there were a lot of people in the audience. But then also now I'm quite used to it, and I know I have to calm myself. I don't get myself up too crazy, because knock wood, but it has never failed or anything. So I just have to be confident in myself and trust the process. But the thing is, when I'm painting, I'm always I've never had this not being that I think it failed. So every time I throw on the glitters or I turn around to painting, and I'm like, oh no, I see a little drip there. Oh no, I see I see this or that, and I just fixate on the flaws. But yeah, in the end, it's part of the whole artwork. So one drip is not gonna, so no one would see it, but basically I fixate on it. So every time with every speed painting, I'm like, oh no, it failed. And then I see how enthusiastic the whole crowd gets, and the people come up to me, and then I see the painting for what they see it. So I'm telling that to all of the people that reach out to me as well all the time, for art in general. Like, don't ever, think it's not, basically it's part of the process to hate it at some point. And then right after that point, you're gonna love it. So keep going.
Yeah, and it's just not to be super hard on yourself, I imagine, because you are getting only just a couple minutes to paint something that most people would take hours to paint.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So cool.
But yeah, that's what I said, knock wood, but it never failed. So I'm happy for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy for you too. Yeah. I feel like even if it did fail a little bit or it like fell, you would like pull it off and be like, da-da-da, like dance with it. Like, I meant to do that.
Yeah.
So I mean, oh, go ahead.
I'm happy that, because with faces, you if you paint the eye a little bit to the right, like, it's not going to be that person anymore. So that's why failing is not an option.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, you do beautiful work, and it's so fun to watch your videos and photos on Instagram and all of that. So
thank you.
When I first ever reached out to you a while ago, the thing that really caught my eye is you painted at Tomorrowland. And can you talk a little bit about that? Like, also maybe explain a little bit about what it is for anybody who doesn't know, who isn't a mega fan of Tomorrowland.
Yeah, Tomorrowland is basically one of the biggest music festivals, of Belgium, but also now of the world.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Huge. Yeah, they're huge. So normally I was supposed to paint there this year as well, and I painted there last year too. And they were super excited. Everyone there, even all the festival goers that were there, they were super excited. I think I painted on at least 100 people the logo and like a butterfly or like anything related to Tomorrowland. I painted on people, and they just came up to me like, "Oh, I love it!" And so the atmosphere on Tomorrowland is so amazing, and it was so awesome to paint there. So basically what I did is every single day of Tomorrowland, I painted a huge mural. And it was also, a little bit of what you do, basically, for people to take a picture with. Yeah. Also, so I started with like a hummingbird, and I did, what else did I do? A peacock, a bee, I don't know. Yeah, also angel wings, and I mean, so many things. And then I was just thinking like, okay, this is really fun. So many colors. People are going to love it. But the amount of love that there was, I was not expecting that. Like, people were queuing to take a picture with it. So at some point, one of the people says like, "Oh my God, have you seen the line that is going on?" I'm painting, so I'm not really looking at anything around me. So I turn around and there's this huge line, and I had no idea. So yeah, people are so all about love and peace, and I love it. Just so painting there was one of the most amazing experiences.
Oh my gosh, I bet. That is so cool. I remember seeing that and being like, oh no, she didn't. And for anybody listening, like, to get tickets to Tomorrowland, it's impossible almost. Like, they sell out within the first few seconds online.
Yeah.
Like, the only reason I got to go is because we got like a world pass to where you had to buy this like big package to where you go travel and such. So that was the only way to get like a ticket to the actual festival, was to like spend way more money and do this other stuff in order to get, but it was so worth it. And everything, Tomorrowland is like, everything they do is over the top and just high class, 100%. And it is like the festival to go to. So
yeah, definitely.
That's an amazing thing to put on your resume or just be a part of. That is so cool.
Yeah.
So, did you do speed painting there, or was it just?
It was in a couple of hours this time because it was such a huge mural, basically, also with background color and everything. So, it was a couple of hours, but it was nice for the people as well who were there to see the process once they come by and they come back and they see this whole new thing evolving. And so, it was a couple of hours. Yeah.
So fun. Yeah. And you're right. There is so much like peace and love and support there. And so I can only imagine people were just like, you are amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And it was so nice. The whole time your confidence is boosted as well.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure that's so draining at the end of the day too, because like sometimes I'll get so excited all day and I'll just wear myself out because I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so where are you going from here? Like, what are you currently working on? Like, do you have an upcoming live art performance coming up, or what's going on in your art world?
For the moment, most of my art events got cancelled, of course, due to Corona.
Oh yeah.
But actually, I was okay with it. I was at some point, I was like, it's okay. I can have a break now. And I'm focusing more on my commissions. That's what I'm doing now. And I did, because I thought due to Corona, people were not going to invest in art or something like that. So I put up this charity project that I was doing with art, where I paint and then sell in auction the works for charity. So assuming I wouldn't get any that much commissions, but quite the contrary. So I got so many commissions, and like my waiting list was piling up. So I did, I think, 5 or 6 paintings for charity, which sold so well. I was so surprised. They got into the newspapers in Belgium as well, so that helped. I was able to donate 5,000 euros to Corona charity. And then from there, now I'm just catching up to all of my commissions. So, yeah.
So awesome. I love that you took that perspective too. You're like, okay, well, things are slowing down a little bit. Like, it's okay to take a breath, you know?
Yeah, and I was happy. I was happy to create my own, you know, like doing what I love, basically. So why not help while doing it?
Perfect. I love that mindset. I love it. So did you end up getting commissions because you were donating to charity, or were those just separate?
I think because I was doing quite a lot at that time. Every week I did 2, and then on the side I did some more commissions as well. So I was at that point like going really hard on painting and social media, all of that. So I think that also contributed to it. Also the media here picked it up, and it was in a lot of newspapers and online media. So I think that added to it. Also I think maybe, I don't know, maybe people came up with an idea because they saw what I did for charity. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I was happy it all worked out well.
I love that. Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint exactly where commissions come from unless you just blatantly ask them, like, hey, how did you find me? You know, but I think in the moment we all kind of forget. I know I forget that just to ask, be like, hey, who brought you here? Like, how do you know? We just usually get on with the painting. But I love that whole give back attitude, because I really, really believe I just see like the more I give back to either or anybody, really, I feel like the more that comes, you know. And I think a lot of people want to wait until they're this big time artist to where, you know, they're making a ton of money, or when they're doing this and that to give back. And I'm like, no, wait, you can start right now with something really small, or something you have laying around, or something you've always wanted to do. Like it comes back to you.
Yeah, true. And I also, some people reach out to me like, how do I do it if I also wanna do art for charity? And I mean, I love that I'm able to inspire you to do the same thing. I mean, all the love to you, and go for it. So I helped a bunch of people answering their messages and And so, and that adds to their, line of works and everything they do. So
Definitely. Yeah, it definitely multiplies. People see you doing it, they start to do it. And
yeah.
so, yeah, okay, awesome. Yeah, I remember seeing that article that you posted. I was like, you go, girl.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Awesome.
I now have a couple of media in Belgium that are following me too. So that's nice. Always helpful.
Yes. So, is there, I'm just going to go back to a couple questions that we did
Yeah.
in the earlier interview that got destroyed. But is there anything you don't like to paint without?
What did I say last time?
Oh, I actually don't remember because it's been like 6 months.
What do I do? Oh yeah, I think I said that to invest in tools that it was really important. That made me go to the next level basically. Because in the beginning I thought, well, a pencil is a pencil. I mean, it's not going to do more than being a pencil. So I used to just grab a pencil and start drawing. And then at some point I was like, okay, now let's see what all the other material is all about. And so I went to my favorite art shop here, and I really invested my time in looking up and doing my research and asking around. So and I got this whole set of really good materials. And I noticed like so bad the difference is so huge. So I also recommend that to people, like invest in good tools. I mean, it helps you. So, brushes they are expensive, but I mean, it does make, for me, it does make a difference. So that's why, I'm advising people to try it, just to try it, to invest in good materials.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and it is like several artists that I've interviewed, they've mentioned like you can start with any paint, like just paint, you know.
True.
But if you want to go to that next level, if you want to get photorealism per se, where you don't want to have to paint it twice because it's see-through, you know, you have to invest in a little bit of thicker paint. And I remember in the very beginning, I was painting this like little SpongeBob character in our bathroom like 10 years ago, and I remember it even comes down to like using the right kind of brush, because I just had a brush that was way too big, and I just didn't even think to get a really smaller brush to do it.
Yeah.
So it took me way longer than it needed, and I was like, just learn the hard way, you know. So,
yeah, no, it's true,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so yeah, tools are a good thing to do an extra bit of research or an extra bit of investment in.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, awesome. What else do you have anything else you want to add, or I'm trying to think of
basically for me, because people also ask me like, what do you see yourself more doing or anything? So for me, I really love to work with brands, because they're telling you like, we want something that strikes the eye, that is just like, whoa. So yeah, I did for example, for MAC Cosmetics, I did with their collection. So I took their lipstick, their eyeshadow, their blush, stuff like that, and just like, you go all out. You do things that you for a commission you wouldn't dare, but for a brand you're like, okay, this has to pop, it has to speak to everyone and grab their attention. So you can do extra with that. And I have a couple of brands I did for Disney, I did for MAC Cosmetics, Tomorrowland. I mean, there's a couple I can't remember. Some other clothing brands or backpack I painted. And I mean, there's so much more you can do with that. And they just say like, okay, we give you a carte blanche. Do you say that in English?
Nope, but I love it.
We give you a white slate, or and you can just do whatever. And so yeah, I do whatever, and I make it pop and make the attention go to their brand and what they stand for or something.
Awesome. Well, woman after my own heart. I love working with businesses. Like, businesses are my jam, because they just have a different mindset, I think. Like, they're used to the cost of business, for one. Like, they're not going to balk at your prices because yours are reasonable, I'm sure. We should probably get into that in a second. But, and they know what they want and they know what they don't want, but they also understand artistic freedom in some ways. And I've worked with some brands to where they are like, do not go off brand. You can't wear pink, you can't wear black, it has to be like blue only and different shades of blue. And I'm like, okay. And then I've worked with other brands. They're like, we need something fun and different and bright colored and like, just do whatever you want. We trust you. And I'm like, okay, cool. Love that. Yeah. So do you experience that a little bit? Like, is it kind of both sides of the spectrum, or have you gotten lucky and they've all just kind of like given you creative freedom as they should?
No, a lot of people say like do whatever, but then they decide, but within the boundaries. I get a lot of creative freedom as well. But sometimes, they just have something in mind, and you kind of want to work also towards them because you want to do what your client has in mind as well. So. And with because I work full time in an advertising agency, so with that background, I always I managed to kind of create what they have in mind as well. So it's a bit of both, that I do my creative thing, and that they're also that it aligns with what they have in mind, basically.
Yeah, so, I love it. Okay, how are these brands finding you? Do you have any idea? And how does the first steps of the process work for you? Like, because a lot of people, they've never worked with a brand before, so I would just kind of want to like get them in your shoes and explain how that works.
Yeah, so brands find me also mostly through Instagram, basically, and also I have a lot of times when I say that Instagram is important with me because I try to post often, be present often. So people around me, they kind of know, if you say artist, they would think of me because I try to stay top of mind, which is important. So every time there's someone calling out for, we're looking for an artist, or we're looking for, I don't know, lettering or whatever, people automatically think like, who do I know it as an artist? And because I work hard to stay top of mind, that's why people always will be like, okay, I know someone, Montana. So basically that's why people, I think of me. So and then it gets through to brands. I don't know, people that work there that follow me, or usually through Instagram actually.
I love it. I love to see just a free social media platform working for people in such an amazing way. Yeah, we do an Instagram training once a month, every single month, to where like we work on captions and we work on photos and getting consistent and all that. Because I'm like, guys, this is working. And so I love
and it's important. People have to know that it's true. Yeah. That's also a tip that I always give to people asking me like, how do I get to where I want? Well, get yourself out there. That's the most important thing. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Instagram is such a free, easy way to do that. Like, I always think, like, imagine back in the day, like pre-internet, pre-civilization even, like, really, like, and everybody's like hanging out in their like hut homes and they're like making art and stuff, and they're like, man, I wish I could get my art out to the masses, like, and imagine imagine telling
must not
them,
be easy.
Yeah, that like, hey, with just a push of a button, thousands of people can see your art. They would be like, what? Of course I'll do that.
Yeah, it's true. And it's indeed, it's like you say, it's for free, so why not do it?
Yeah, exactly. And I always do like the fishing analogy is kind of what I think. Like, you have to like cast a lot over here and like use a bobber over there. Do you fish? Is that a thing?
I try to work different not only platforms but also different strategies, let's say. So
and like it's like nobody likes to fish when you're not catching anything, you know, but then like eventually you'll just get like a really big one. And it'll come from like, I post to LinkedIn all the time, and I've gotten one job from there, but it's that one job that was really, really good where I'm like, okay, we're just going to keep posting to LinkedIn.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it's important. You're doing that really good. Like you're overall, the whole line, you're being very, out there and active, so that's really good.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, so what else do we want to talk about? Let's see. Do you have anything else you want to add to this? I love the brand aspect that we just added.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe for people to set their prices, because I hear that's not very easy for most people as well. So
yeah, how do you figure out what you're gonna price, especially for live painting?
Yeah, my speed paintings, they actually have quite a fixed price. So because of the people that wanted to be my manager after Belgium's Got Talent, they kind of helped me with that because they knew what was acceptable or what was, what other people were doing. So I'm asking, for live speed painting, 1,350 euros. That's almost similar to dollars, I think. I mean, similar.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah. And then, for, a commission painting, it's always by size and what people want. So I always tell people it depends, the size of the canvas, of course, the amount of faces on it, and then, the style, or because if they want speed paint style, it takes me less long. Then I do also very detailed, so that will take longer. So yeah, and I mean, my prices I've set very much due to the demand. So I came from asking, I don't know, 800 euros for a painting, and now I recently sold one for 3,000. I mean, it very much fluctuates, and due to demand. So it's always good to go in an upwards direction, of course. So yeah.
Yeah. So if you're pretty booked out, are you charging more, or?
Usually because it's like supply demand. If you're being, too much, required, and I also have my full-time job, so I kind of have to, balance it out a bit. But if, I have to increase my prices if I tend to get overloaded by work. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's a natural way of price growing. So, I mean, I'm really okay with it.
Yeah, good. I'm glad that you're okay with it, because I struggle with it a little bit, because I'll go and bid a job and I'll be like, ooh, am I charging too much? And I'll like ask my husband for a second opinion, and he's like, no.
I do that.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
I do that too.
He's like, no, you're booked out over a month. You're charging them that rate. I'm like, okay.
I have the exact same. I always want to please people, so I always want to be like, oh, but I really kind of like that job. I really want to do it, but and then I would be like, oh yeah, I'll just ask for like a little bit less because I really want to do it or something, and then I always ask for like a second opinion. I have my momager,
I love that.
who I can ask sometimes, and she would be like, oh no. She always like sets the price way higher than I ever would. So she's kind of good to use as a balance. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, everybody needs like a sounding board of like a person to be like, yes, that's legit, or no, you should raise it and whatnot.
Yeah.
There's this artist in Houston. Her Instagram tag is Murals by Whitney, and we have just become internet friends over the last couple of years. And like, she messaged me and she's like, hey, do you want to be like my pricing accountability buddy? And I'm like, yeah, sure. She's like, I just underbid another project, and I need someone to tell me to not underbid or to. I'm like, okay, let's do it for each other.
Yeah, true. I've never thought of it because I always have the momager helping me out with that. But yeah, for me it was so natural, just like thinking out loud, and then she would comment on it, and I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Actually, I don't want to go too low or something like that. But then on the other hand, if you would ask someone that doesn't know anything about it, if I would ask, I don't know, I think a friend or something that is not aware of your price or anything, they would be like, wait, last time I had a friend and she'd be like, oh, soon you're going to be so known that you're going to ask like, I don't know, 500 euros for something. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of like never been at that low point. So, and she's like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah, and my prices are kind of, like triple or something.
Yeah, like I don't even want to say it. Yeah, I have this one friend, she wanted a wings painting, and I was like, let's just trade services. Like I'll trade your services and I'll give you mine, and we'll just trade ours, because I didn't even want to tell her what I was going to charge for it, because she would have been like, oh no. Like, I was like, you're my friend, let's just trade. Okay.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I have friends as well that'd be like, oh, I want you to paint at my wedding, and of course I would do that with all the pleasure in the world. But yeah, I'm not even gonna mention my price. Then it's not just it's not, first of all, it's not applicable to them, and it's also they don't have to get overwhelmed, because I know they wouldn't want to pay that.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, I guess we could wrap this up with one last question. So this Artist Academy podcast got started to help inspire aspiring artists, so artists who are not quite at your level yet. So what would you tell an artist who really wants to make art this full-time career, but just doesn't know where to start? Like where does someone even start to make art their full-time career?
Yeah. Well, I'm not at the full-time career, but I totally get what you mean. Basically, I always tell people it's so important that you get yourself out there. If people don't even know that you paint, how are you expecting them to make a commission? So get yourself out there. Start painting, even if it's for your grandparents, for your neighbor, for yourself, and then people will pick it up and see that you paint and how nice you're doing it. So, and then you'll see that people would come up to you and ask for themselves, and so and also what I'm very believing in is that just keep going until you've reached your goal. So set goals for yourself, and if you're not reaching your goal, then you have your goal towards which you have to go, and don't quit halfway there. Just keep going.
Yeah, I love it. Set goals for yourself. Like, try to find a place so that you want to go, and just set a goal and work towards it. Yeah, because you mentioned, like, you have a full-time job. And even, your full-time job is in the arts still. So it's like, you're basically a full-time artist, kind of. But you get the business side, the branding side of it. Yeah. Doing your full-time job, too.
Yeah, I work in the advertising industry. I do graphic design, which is the creative part, but also website building, so the minority part. But I kind of need that. And people say like, oh, don't you want to like go full on your art? And I could if I wanted to, but I want to work with my brains a lot, because for me, art is my brains are off. I'm taking my stuff to my boyfriend, and I'm painting while we're watching a movie, and it's just my hands that do the work, and I'm watching a movie. It's just my hands that are painting, and people find that odd that I do that, but for me it gives me more patience with my painting. So you don't stop and say like, okay, next painting because I'm tired of this. No, because you're watching a movie and your hands are doing the work.
I have no idea how you do that.
You're just like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah.
No, yeah, I thought more people were doing that, but apparently, yeah.
No,
podcasts. Yeah. I love to listen to podcasts.
I'll listen to a podcast or a book, but as for watching something, I like have to be looking. I'm not even, I guess you could say that, because I'm not even like thinking about the painting half the time. You know? You're thinking about what you're listening to. You're just kind of going through emotions.
So you're painting a picture in your head, and then your hands are doing the work. So it's also unconsciously working, which is, to me, it works the best. So yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of like you having that full-time job, you like you said, it allows a different part of your brain to work, and it puts less pressure on your art as well. Because when people want to go full-time and they want to like dive into it, and that puts so much pressure on your art, and it almost becomes. I mean, it becomes a job. Like, it's like you have to show up to work day, you have to produce, you have to do so much. And with you not doing it completely full time yet, it's like, or not at all. And it allows you to have this side business that's still fun.
Yeah, that's so true. And that's also why I really like it, because I'm allowed to set my prices where they are, because, and if you don't want it, it's okay.
Yeah,
like,
you don't need that
not
income.
a problem. Yeah. So that's why it stays fun for me, and it stays a hobby and an after work hobby.
Yeah. So one more question. Where do you find time to like live life other than work and painting? Like, do you have a social life? Like, I know you do because I see you on Instagram, but how do you fit that in?
But well, actually, due to Corona, I was actually a bit happy that my social life was a bit on the low, because you get invited to birthday parties and I mean cozy get-togethers with friends, and I really want to go there, but on the other side you also you have this whole list of paintings that are also due. So I don't know how I just manage, and I even sometimes I manage to even just chill and kind of feel guilty about it, but still I manage to chill, and people will be like, oh, where do you, because I now also have my health, which I have another account for my health part with health food and all that stuff. So people ask me like, how do you do all that? But I don't know. Yeah, it's my life. I don't know how I juggle all these things, but it works, and yeah.
You make it
kind
work.
of balance. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You have your own version of balance, and I think that's what not a lot of people realize too, because like everybody has their own version of balance, and for some people that might be a lot more lax than others. Like for me, I love going, working. Where I love what I do, so I'm like people. Yeah, exactly. People are. It's not work. Whenever
I cannot sit like still, or even in when I'm showering, I'm listening to podcasts. I mean, I'm like, even in the car, also always listen to podcasts. So I kind of, that's basically maybe my, my secret. I maximize the time I have, or the free time I have. I try to stuff everything inside.
Yeah. So be productive whenever you can, and also love what you do is the secret to doing it all.
Exactly.
I was the same way with you. Whenever Corona hit, I was like, whoo, nobody is pressuring me to go out to birthday dinners. Like, I don't have to go to the bar, like, and socialize or anything. Like, this is amazing.
Everyone was like nagging all about the bars being closed, and I was like, I'm really happy about this.
I think a lot of artists too, because like my husband jokes, because my husband is very much an extrovert, and he's like itching to get out and do stuff, and he's like, she can live in quarantine her whole life and be happy. I'm like, yep. Awesome.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, thank you so much for coming on here and re-recording with me. We had a kind of different kind of chat now that I know you a little bit better, and I love it. So we should do it again in a year or so from now or something. And
definitely, to see where both of us were at that point.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much. Let's keep in contact on Instagram.
Yeah, we'll do, definitely.
Awesome.
Okay, now have a good day, because your day is starting there. So,
yep, and have a great evening.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
A lot of luck with everything you do.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. This episode is sponsored by the Artist Academy Advanced Membership, a program for artists who want to up-level their art game by taking it from a hobby or a side hustle to a full-time 6-figure art business. with weekly trainings that include step-by-step proven art business techniques, plus painting tutorials from yours truly and other guest artists who are masters in their field. You will be well equipped to learn and grow into the highly skilled and highly profitable artist you know you're meant to be. I've figured out what it takes to build my own six-figure art business, and now my heart is set on teaching aspiring artists like you to do the same. It's not hard, but it does require your time and dedication. So, if you're up for the challenge, go to advancedmember.com. That's advancedmember.com to learn more. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. If you review our podcast and send a screenshot of that review to me on Instagram, I am at @ArtByAndreaEarhart. I will then promote your art on my story and tag you as a little thank you for helping me grow this podcast and our Artist Academy community. I have a reach of over 50,000 on Instagram, so this is a little help me to help you incentive. Also, if you ever want your questions answered in real time by myself or featured guests, then just hop on over to facebook.com/groups/Artist Academy to check out the schedule every Tuesday to catch us on live. I'll see you next week.